Check.
Is it cool if I just put it in between? That's perfect.
Keeks, you ready for this?
Yeah, when are we going? So,
Ladies and gentlemen, would you now please welcome the Arizona Wildcats?
Hey guys, with Keegan here, we're at the University of California, Berkeley for the match against University of Arizona early in the season. What do you have for us, Keeks?
It's going to be wet and windy. February rugby.
February Rugby. Tune in on ESPN Plus on the app, streaming behind the paywall, but lots of rugby on that channel. Hope to see you guys out there. It's going to be a rugby day.
Go Bears.
Please welcome, California Golden Bears. Ladies and gentlemen, today Cal wears black armbands in loving memory of Mr. Hal Puckett, the father of Golden Bears Mike and John Puckett. Please join us in a moment of silence to honor Mr. Puckett. Thank you. And now, would all those who are able to do so, please rise for the playing of our national anthem. He is assisted by James Lee Brown and Blake Storms.
It is a wet and windy day here in Berkeley, California. Good afternoon and welcome to Witter Rugby Field. I'm Keegan Engelbrecht alongside former Cal All-American and USA Eagle Colin Hawley, bringing you all of the action. in today's home opener between the California Golden Bears and the Arizona Wildcats. Colin, good to be with you today. What's got you excited?
Yeah, we got a wet game in front of us right here, and this is rugby weather. We're going to have a lot of balls on the deck here, but a lot of ground and pound here for both teams to go ahead and make sure they maintain possession. Looking for some kicks to clearance, but it's going to be a battle. A lot of bone-on-bone collisions here as the wet weather keeps it a little bit tighter.
Absolutely. We are underway here in Berkeley through the early exchanges with a big thumping hit. I think that's Cade Christ, the starting hooker for California, putting in a good shot. Illegally so, says the man in the middle, referee Frank Palumbo.
Now that's exactly what Cal wants to do. They got the ball outside their 22, set up a perimeter around it, and had that box kick. Your kick is only as good as its chase. Comes up with a big hit, sloppy ball, got out of there, but again, when you hit that ruck, you've got to maintain your feet. Just getting over the ball there, a little bit of lack of body control, and Arizona's inside Bear territory.
Good early primary phase ball here for the Wildcats. As starting hooker Cameron Blair, the captain for Arizona, feeds the ball into his side. Here comes Jacob Hall now into Maddox King, the outside center. Hall into Gerstel. Shows and goes, opts to keep it himself. Turnover in the tackle contest. California's now on the attack. Here's Jack Bizio. Solomon Williams, once he keeps working the short side, finds a bit of space to Rand Santos. He's going to carry into contact. Arizona doing a good job of bundling Santos into touch.
Yeah, nice job by the Cal defense coming up, but Arizona decided to play quickly, paint in the corner there. Can Cal get back to field this kick?
Kirsten having a hard time bringing it in. Instead, going to move the ball through his hands to starting fullback Oliver Newell. Cal's going to work to recycle here. Williams now to Iramea. Iramea, the big man in the 8th man shirt. This Cal's going to find their shape. That's Paga. High tackle, says the referee.
Yeah, infraction there by the number 13, Maddox King, just going a bit high. You got to get those pads down along the waist. No tackles around the shoulder or the neck. Cal gets a nice get out of jail free card here to kick to touch and gain some territory.
Good early exchanges we're seeing from both sides. Physicality, intent.
Yeah, like what we thought about with the wet weather ball here. A couple turnovers early for Arizona in the tackle contest. And Rand Santos, they try to go down that blind side, get a little sneaky, but getting pushed in there. You just got to play the elements in front of you.
There's Cade Christ again, finding the lock, Hugo Schroeder. Bears looking to work their rolling maul as they've just crossed over the halfway, and Arizona brings them back the other way. Wide ball from Williams to Joe Kirsten. Needs to do well here to stay in bounds and does so. We see Byron Finley preparing for a carry. Another infringement spotted by the referee. We'll see what Cal opts with here.
Yeah, just a little too over-eager trying to get that ball before it's out. Getting penalized. Cal happy to take this and again slow things down, bring the team together, talk about what the plan is, get that thing into touch and get a line out. Their first opportunity in Wildcat territory.
Plenty of experience in the side for the Bears this afternoon. Starters, we see Tom Dixon, Cade Christ, and Charlie Walsh making up the front row. Hugo Schroeder and Byron Finley in the 4 and 5 shirts, respectively. We've got Don Paga, John Puckett, and Iramea as the back row trio.
Interesting to see here from Cal, right? They want to go ahead and run the ball. They want to execute well today. Coach Clark before the match said execution is the number one priority. Go ahead and make sure of it, get that ball in, and run a primary phase.
Cal again likes their chances in the rolling maul, finding some purchase here as they approach the 22. Seem to have lost the ball in the tackle contest, but regathered by California. Here's Tom Dixon now. Tom Dixon filling the shoes last weekend, this week in the front row, up from his traditional spot in the second row. Now Philip Edstrom for a carry into the Wildcat defense. Hugo Schroeder, Dom Paga in support. The Bears working their forward pack. Now comes the backs via Santos. Show and go from Threlkeld. Gets past his opposite man. Arizona doing well to maintain their defensive shape as Charlie Walsh, the captain of the side, never shying away from contact is Walsh. Bit of space spotted down here to the left side. Walsh again with another carry. Good hands from California, stringing their phases together. Here's the big man, Iramea. Walsh with a third touch in the exchange here. Santos likes to step underneath with an all-over Newell. Picking up an offload from Santos as the Bears working their way one by one towards the try line. Arizona doing a great job to hold the ball up here. Maul calls the referee, and that's a turnover very well earned by the Arizona Wildcats.
Two things happening at the same time here. The California Golden Bears adding pressure, asking questions, phase after phase, wanting to play that quick ball. That means the ball carrier has to get in contact, get down, put the ball back, and Williams has to get that ball out, doing a great job. But Arizona on the other side really resetting their defense and coming up and making tackles, double tackles. I know Santos had a bit of a half gap there with that ball on the inside to Newell. And again, Arizona defense holding firm in their red zone and got the turnover.
Scrum time for the Wildcats sees Isaac Murrell, Captain Cameron Blair, Dalton Slaughter in the front row, Andreas Anderson and Jack Bresland, followed by Ashton Gradwick Light, Tanner DeMassa, and Aiden Kemp in the number 8 position.
Now, this is a hairy position to be in if you're Arizona. When you're backed up to your goal line, you make a silly mistake on the back of this scrum and you're in trouble. So this is exactly what we're talking about. Exit strategy within your own 22. Fly half right behind that scrum. Hard kick to get out of here with a sloppy ball. Keegan, you've been in that position. A little bit of pressure, huh?
No question about it. Arizona's going to want to get into their exit protocols immediately and do so via the right boot of Jacob Hall. Finds touch. It's a good clearance kick from the scrum half.
I mean, that's about as good as you can do it coming off that scrum and wheeling around the right, spinning out and trying to get that kick on the run almost to halfway. Arizona does a great job relieving some pressure, and Cal Bears now with the line out inside of their 50.
The balance of the back line for Arizona sees Jacob Hall and Saxon Gerstle as the halfback pairings from Australia. Ted Champion and Maddox King, the center pairing, with Jake Schumacher, Antonio Gonzalez, and Mateo Berenger, the vice captain, lining up at the fullback position as California is back under attack.
Hard pressure coming up from Arizona. They're launching off the line. You see them taking those 3 meters, putting the Cal offense under pressure.
Here's John Puck at the open side for Cal. Well contested at the breakdown. Santos likes his chances down the left side. It was on for Threlkeld, unable to connect, but gathered cleanly by Bizio. Solomon Williams wants to play quickly, spotting a bit of space. Always on the boil is Williams. Cleaned up tidily by Byron Finley. And a good poaching contest from Arizona, earning themselves a good turnover, Colin.
Yeah, nice snipe there by Williams. You got to have support. It was there in the Bears, but Arizona, this big forward pack, getting over the pill. They've been dangerous, a couple penalties, but it goes their way this time. Absolute physical contest at that breakdown.
Good touch finder from Gerstle.
This
on
is
behalf
kind
of Arizona.
This is kind of what we expected, right? Two teams, they're doing extremely well early in the season, feeling each other out, but they're big bodies and they're here to play physical guys. We talked to Sean Duffy yesterday, said the athlete is just different. They're so committed. They have their own private weight room. Just the physicality of this Arizona team has been increasing year over year. We're seeing it right now.
Always a tall order to come into Strawberry Canyon and play California. Colin, I'm reminded of Coach Duffy's comments yesterday of when asked, what's it going to take to meet to the challenge, I'm just reminded of his response, they're up for it.
Yeah, they're up for it. They know what it means. They actually almost had that victory against St. Mary's. So this team's committed. The athletes are committed, and they're ready for the challenge. It looks like they're actually hanging in here pretty well in the first 10 minutes of this match. Cal Bears with the scrum inside their own 50.
Good opportunity potentially to see California unleash their back line. The experienced halfback pairing of Solomon Williams and Rand Santos. Philip Edstrom and Max Threlkeld in the 12 and 13 shirts. We're seeing Jack Bizio and Joe Kirsten on the wings with fullback Oliver Newell.
I mean, you look at the front rows of these teams, Dixon, Christ, and Walsh. I mean, big bodies up there, but on the other side, Cameron Blair, the number 2 and the captain, the leader. Coach Sean Duffy said he's been leading from the front here, but both big squads in the engine room getting the shove on. You just love to see it.
Colin, I'm thinking, given today's conditions, I imagine we're going to see a fair few scrums with a wet and greasy ball as Aramea picks off the base into the midfield, doing very well to not only get over the gain line, but the halfway line as well.
250-pound freight train coming off the back of that scrum. He's an absolute unit.
A nice missed pass from Santos. Releases Joe Kirsten down the right touchline. As California has worked their way inside the opposing 22. Paga now with the carry into the defense. I think it was turned over. Whoop, unable to gather that ball is inside center Ted Champion. And an excellent attacking opportunity for California deep here in Wildcat territory.
You thought Arizona just gifted themselves a turnover there. I think that was number 6, Addison Gradwick Light, getting that turnover. But just like that, the ball's a little low at the ankles for the clearance kick. Just doesn't go to the hand. Just like that, Cal Bears, 5-meter scrum, and it's go time for the Bears.
Colin, I'm seeing the Bears lined up quite wide, looking particularly threatening and menacing.
That one blind side over there, a winger.
Williams is going to opt for Edstrom to carry in and set the foundation. 3 meters away from the try line are California. As Tom Dixon picks up from the base. Here we see Walsh and Aramea tackled very well by Breslin. Williams spotting a bit of a gap, exploiting in, does so. He's over the whitewash. That's 5 points for California.
You just got to love that from the Cal Bears, winning the scrum, going ahead, going to the open side. And what a run there from the number 12, Edstrom. He's a freshman, and Coach Clark said he will be good. He's earning some minutes here early in his Cal rugby career. But that go-forward ball from Edstrom after that primary phase set up that ball, pushed back the Arizona defense, and you just love what Williams brings at the number 9 jersey. Always looking for that slim opportunity to go ahead and dart through and get in the try there for the Bears.
Well worked and well earned 5 points for California as Rand Santos is going to line up the conversion to potentially pick up another 2. Will be interesting to see how the Wildcats bounce back from what amounted to a costly mistake deep in their own territory. We see the flags go up for Rand Santos. It's 7-0 California. 14 minutes gone in this afternoon's contest.
We got to go back to the exit strategy. When you're backed up to your goal line in the red zone, it's an absolute pressure cooker. So making sure that ball from the 9, it's about a good 15-meter pass for that clearance kick out the back. It's got to go to hand. You've got to catch that thing, and you've got to set your feet before you put the ball out. Those little mistakes in that end of the field end up like that, where usually the opposing team gets a great ball and normally a try.
Wildcats, unfortunately, compounding mistakes here. Offsides at the restart, says the referee. So we see a scrum center, California.
Always fun to have split backs there when you're looking up. And if you're Arizona, you've got some deadly attackers here in the back line. 2 on the right, 3 on the left. Got to defend both. And here we go.
Williams opting to find Santos out the back. Spotted a bit of space as Santos, but charged down. I think that was the inside center, Ted Champion, for Arizona. Champion, the senior, out of Ontario, played his rugby at Shawnigan Lake in British Columbia, spent time with the Canada U18s and U20s. Coach Sean Duffy particularly excited with the versatility of that man champion. Untidy ball at the line of touch, but well gathered by Solomon Williams. Looks like we see Williams shaping for a box kick. Chased by Bizio. Unable to gather, but picks it up on the second bounce. Knocked forward, says the referee. Scrum time, Wildcats.
Well, I thought Bizio had that on the foot. I was like, what a little bit of a soccer player there to kick it off the foot and regather. But, yeah, those box kicks coming up in the air, you got to get down there and ladder up and contest with your hands. And, again, in the wet weather, a challenge for the deep three today.
We'll be curious to see what the Wildcats deploy here. Colin, you mentioned a wet ball, but acres of space available to them down here in the open side. We see a multi-layered attack from the Wildcats, and here we go. Wide ball from Gerstle. Into Maddox King, the outside center. Gerstle wants to put the ball on his foot, but charged down by Santos. Well gathered by Jake Schumacher. Untidy at the breakdown. Hacked through by Kirsten. Here comes Gerstle now again. Nice spiral bomb off that right boot. Bays by the California Bears, having been carried back inside the 22.
You see the players pointing back when you pass that ball back inside of that 22-meter line. It goes back to where you kicked it. I'm not sure if the referee or the touchies caught it.
Perhaps the previous ruck was, in fact, beyond the 22, which allows the Wildcats to exit their territory. The ball going out on the full, meaning it crosses the sideline before bouncing. Regardless, we're back underway. Santos into big man Aramea. Going to take at least two Wildcats to bring him down.
What a unit.
Here's Edstrom. Plenty of touches from Edstrom in these early exchanges. Good to see the freshman getting involved early. Williams to Santos. Another cutout from Santos. Finds Kirsten. Chip through, charge down. Regathered by California, hacked by Williams. Perhaps taken off the ball in back play. And we've got Joe Kirsten down on that far touchline. Probably the conditions, Colin, but altogether pretty untidy from both sides as they continue to feel each other out.
Yeah, you're trying to figure out how to break this line. What you're seeing here most recently is a lot of players getting to that line and then deciding to try to get a kick through. I mean, pretty tough ass to hit this line at pace and then put it on your foot right in the front of the defense. If you want to put something behind them, call a play, make sure you actually get that out. The line speed from Arizona is coming up pretty quick. So on both sides of it, trying to go ahead and make that kick happen. I think 3 have been blocked in the last 5 minutes. So making that slight adjustment, if you want to kick it, put it behind, put them under pressure. I think they're talking about right now that kick through and getting pulled back instead of the chase. Penalty, you got to let that man go ahead and run through and get that ball.
Colin, we were chatting earlier before the match, the amount of experience on the pitch this afternoon. It's exciting to see, especially at the collegiate game, a number of players from both sides having represented their country at U18, U20s, Eagle Impact Rugby Academy representation. Bodes well for the collegiate game going forward.
It's wonderful to see, especially guys that came up with the game in high school and seeing the age grade and grassroots. Folks are playing the rugby, when they're in grade school, coming up into high school, and then really getting their representative honors in U20s and U18s. And by the time you hit the collegiate game, you've got some pretty good game time behind you. You're playing some pretty good footy. So a lot of players here today that you're seeing match to match. We were looking at number to number, and it's pretty even for experience.
We'll be drawing on all of that experience, no doubt, as the match continues this afternoon. brought down illegally and dangerously, says referee Palumbo. We'll see what California opts for here. Certainly well within range of Rand Santos to have a shot at goal, but it looks like he's shaping for a line out deep in Wildcat territory. Colin, you think we'll see the rolling maul?
Oh, the Bears are going for it right now, choosing to go to the corner. They like their chances. They've won most of their lineouts, and their rolling maul has looked incredibly good. And here we go. Christ with the throw in, and here we go. Well taken by the Bears.
Purposely not brought down immediately by the California lifters there. Bears are on the attack, working their way over the try line. It's try time, California. We'll get a number on you for who that might be. I think that might be the eighth man, Aramea.
Talk about playing in the right parts of the field. You see the California Golden Bears going through and finding the opportunity to get in that corner. The bread and butter, kick to touch within the 5 meter, win the line out, get the driving ball, get the try. That's what the Bears want to do in these conditions. Go ahead and use their strength in their forward pack. Execution, again, the number one KPI here for today, and the Bears are executing on that line out in the drive. Seems like something they're going to go to most of the game.
Correction, I think it was Cade Christ, the try scorer. Colin, we had an opportunity to connect with Coach Jack Clark. Love to see the intent demonstrated by the Bears. I mentioned that penalty well within Rand Santos's range, but instead opting to keep the foot on the gas and go for the line out. It ended up being a good call, resulting in 5 points for California, brings our score 12-0 halfway through this first half.
Yeah, what Coach Clark was talking about before the game is this team needs to execute, but again, apply the pressure. There's times where you can call a play, you can think about what's going on, and then you got to feel it. You got to play what's in front of you. So that play call and like, hey, we're doing well on the line out, we're doing good on the rolling ball. Play what's in front of us, push the tempo, and put them under pressure. Seems the Bears got that message on the field today.
Gerstel getting us underway, gathered neatly by Oliver Newell, the fullback. Puts a very tidy kick on a booming left boot. Oliver Newell, the junior. Colin, approaching 22 minutes gone in the first half, seeing maybe a little bit of ill discipline, maybe a little overeager from the Wildcats in these early exchanges. They're going to want to stay on the right side of the referee to be able to manage their game plan and express themselves the way that they intend to.
Yeah, a little bit of ill discipline at the breakdown, right? Coming off their feet. They've got to control their bodies once they get to that ruck. But also just those little mistakes in these big matches, knocking on the ball on your goal line, having that tackling the player without the ball that led to the penalty. Those things really hurt you against the Bears when they're playing clinical rugby. What they need to do is go ahead and play a couple phases, maintain possession, get inside the Bear half, maybe kick to the corner and see if they can put some pressure on them.
Good line out taken from Breslin, but met with an aggressive drive from California. See scrum half hall. Puts the boot on. It's an excellent take again from Oliver Newell. 2 big moments for the fullback. Here comes Streeter now. Space down this left-hand side if California wants to use it, although I'm seeing maybe some shape here from Williams as Puckett, the open side flanker, gets in behind the defense. California wants to play and can't blame them. They've got numbers and space down this left side. A little bit of an unsympathetic pass from Philip Edstrom, but gathered well by Jack Bizio. Here's Aramea. Again, always finding a way to get past his first defender. California off their feet, says the referee. And well responded by Arizona.
Yeah, nice job by the Bears going wide. Really hard to go ahead and ship that ball the way you want to on a line. Give yourself a little bit of time and space by splitting your splits up and getting deeper and a little bit closer. But that defense over the ball, great job by Arizona applying the pressure that allows for those Bears to come in flying off their feet. They get what they want to do here, kind of slowing it down, seeing what they're going to do. Looks like breaking out the tee.
Yeah, Colin, I like that decision from Arizona. Been under a number of minutes of pressure deep in their own end, finally working their way into Bear territory. Hard to pass up the opportunity to take points, especially with the educated boot of Ted Champion at your disposal.
Yeah, Ted Champion, normally a fly half, doing the 12 spot here. Looks like a 10-12 combo where he can be a second first five. But really, talking to Coach Clark, he was really impressed by Champion, what he did against St. Mary's. Really nifty player. As this one, not really sure, seeing the touchies. Was that up or down?
No, I think unable to draw that ball in off the right upright. Unfortunately, leaving that ball outside is Champion. And California will get things underway. Plenty of leg from Champion as Santos is going to get us underway. Here's Antonio Gonzalez. Now Gerstle puts the ball high into the East Bay sky. Again, gathered very well by Newell. So reliable at fullback is Oliver Newell. Here's Williams. Not through the gate, says referee Palumbo, spotting an infringement by Tom Dixon, the big man up front. We'll see what Arizona opts for here.
Another penalty at the breakdown for the Bears. A little bit of ill discipline. See if Arizona can capitalize. But I want to call out number 15, Newell, for the Bears coming up. 2 massive catches there from high balls in the rain. Coach Clark said he plays a bit like a flanker, putting his head down, and he's absolutely aggressive as an aerialist right now. Really impressed with his poise under the high ball.
Colin, given your experience in the 15 shirt, I know that skill's not lost on you. As Cameron Blair throws the ball into his side, unable to collect the Wildcats. Eager defense from John Puckett, the open side flanker. The Wildcats taking exception to that. You love to see it a little chippy here, Colin. You can see what it means to both of these sides.
Yeah, about 25 minutes gone, so those first game hits and jitters are now getting out of it. Players are getting dialed, finding their shape on the field, wanting to get something done here. And Arizona staying alive. A couple penalties by the Bears, and they've got a great scrum and platform here at the 22. What do you got on the menu, Wildcats?
Precarious position for California. It's a big open side. Pushing early. Sees a free kick. Jacob Hall wants to get going. Unable to hold on. The ball in contact as Maddox King turned over. Here comes California. Wants to put the ball through their hands. Here comes Newell, pinning his ears back. Darting down this right side. He's got Joe Kirsten on the outside of him. Can they connect? Well defended by Ted Champion from Arizona. Bit of space here spotted by Rand Santos. Wants to put the ball tidily to Jack Bizio. Bizio gets past his man, doing well to stay in bounds. I think he was offsides. Antonio Gonzalez. Frank Palumbo disagrees. Unfortunately, California unable to maintain that momentum. No wrap, says the referee.
What a moment for the Bears. The kick pass to the corner. If it had a little bit more distance on it, what a moment there. An expansive play, but great job by Arizona coming over and making the tackle and getting the turnover as the ball nearly hits us in the booth. But Arizona, again, bending, not breaking, trying desperately to stay in Cal Bear territory and get points on the board.
Another good moment from the fullback, Oliver Newell, the econ major. Doing a great job of pinning his ears back, injecting a bit of pace into that California counterattack. Well gathered by John Puckett. But we'll come back to the initial knock-on from the Swede Wildcat Andreas Andersson. Played his rugby at Blackrock College in Ireland before finding his way to Tucson.
I mean, it's just such a focus moment in the game when you got a wet ball and you notice that, we're knocking the ball in contact, we're not getting those line-out throws. you got to change up tactics. You got to figure out, okay, we're going to limit it down, make it a simple menu, bring in our splits a little bit closer, focus up on that pass and catch, and maybe not play as expansive, and just make sure of it.
Good platform from California. Edstrom and Bizio linking up for a bit of play as they get their way into the midfield. Here's Threlkeld. Excited to see Threlkeld in a new position, calling for Threlkeld, lining up at the outside center position. Typically plays his rugby as a 12 as California working their attacking pattern. Santos out the back. Here comes Threlkeld with a neat inside ball to Newell, keeping the ball alive as California. Careful giving this man too much space. Santos doing well to keep his feet alive.
Santos just stepping his way through the gaps. The man is absolutely great at the 10, but he's an attacking 10 where he's get that little half gap and offend, gets go for it for the Bears.
Santos again probing around the fringes of the ruck. Always on the boil is Solomon Williams. Perhaps a turnover and poach earned by the Wildcats. Here comes Newell again. Perhaps an opportunity to put that ball through his hands, but Jack Bizio continues to use his pace and physicality to earn a few meters for California. Walsh lining up for a turn. Calling for seeing California deploy the use of the forwards, especially pick and jam time as they approach the try line. I got to think that's a result of the conditions.
Yeah, conditions keep it tight. Go toe-to-toe in the engine room with the big boys and see who wants it more. See if you can consolidate some numbers and move it wide.
Space here spotted by Williams. Santos. The hard line from Joe Kirsten creating some space on the outside. Requests of shepherding go unheard for the Wildcats. That's 5 more points for California from Santos.
Hot line from the outside coming up, committing those defenders. Santos with the dummy, moving around the back and just stretching his legs to the corner, getting another try for the Bears. Arizona believing it's a short shepherding, which is blocking. You can't run in front of a ball carrier like in football. But Arizona feel like they've been hard done by that call, but Bears go up another try. I mean, that's what the Bears want to do in that position, though, Keegan. Go ahead and consolidate with the forwards. Go ahead, get some go forward. See if those Arizona defenders come on in and have some one-on-one opportunities or two-on-two, and Bears like their chances out wide with those numbers.
That space was spotted very early by Solomon Williams. We saw he and Santos communicate that early. They were able to jump on that as Santos does a good job. Puts plenty of boot on it, unfortunately unable to bring that back in. It's 17-0 in favor of California with about 9 minutes left in the first half. Critical point in the match here, Colin. Arizona struggling to string some phases together and capitalize on their opportunities. They're going to want to get some points on the board. As big Aramea carries hard into contact, unable to hold on to the ball. Very well defended and bravely defended from the Wildcats. Nice tidy hands from Breslin. Big collisions from Edstrom. Off their feet, says the referee. Very well earned penalty from California. I think that was Tom Dixon over the ball.
Dixon, the ball hawk, getting over the top. Nice job by the Bears getting the turnover. We talked about Arizona. They've had some opportunities inside of Bear territory, right? A couple turnovers, ill discipline. I think the Bears had 3 penalties at the breakdown in a row, maybe a knock on there. They've got to go ahead and maintain possession at the breakdown here. This is when you see the Bears consolidate, get really tight with support, with hands on, right when they go into contact. Arizona just got to switch on and get a little bit tighter when they got the pill here. They've got the scrum down. Let's see if they consolidate and go ahead and play with intent.
Another scrum infringement by California. We'll see what the Wildcats up to. Definitely in front of the post and well within the range of Champion, but Gerstle wants to put the ball deep into California territory. Probably work that rolling maul.
I think that's a great call. You got to get some points on the board. If you get one before the half, you got a purchase on you to go into the halftime and say, hey, well, we made some mistakes. We had some opportunities. This is a big moment for the Wildcats to get some points, to get the goose egg off the board.
Knock on, says the referee. You hate to see it for the Wildcats. Doing such a good job to earn the field position and territory. Again, unable to capitalize on the opportunity, translate to points. Not out of the woods yet are California, not 10 meters outside of their try line. Colin, we spoke to Coach Clark. California wants to play with the ball by definition, and an opportunity perhaps for them to do that here. The question remains of will the conditions allow it.
The technical philosophy, keep the ball in hand. They like to play. They like to rumble. And just like that, the Bears want relentless pressure on attack.
A big carry from Edstrom into the opposing fly half. Gerstle. Colin, we're seeing a number of infringements at the breakdown. Both sides an opportunity to keep their heads at the tackle contest.
Just a bit of frustration. We talked to Coach Clark. The element of the rain, it's just you need an added layer of focus, right? And you're sitting there reading, reacting. And with the rain, it does make it a bit harder to go ahead and capitalize on moments. But they've got to be the right moments, right? Especially in the rain. Keep your composure. Keep your discipline, especially in this kind of setting and atmosphere. So both teams guilty of that at the breakdown. And again, Bears relieve some pressure nearly the halfway.
We see the eighth man, Aramea, for California lining up in the midfield. See if we get his hands on her. They go right past him. Well done. Into John Puckett. Aramea serving as the decoy. Threlkeld spotting a bit of space in behind Wildcat defense. We're going to come back for an offsides infringement. Maybe just a little over-eager, from Arizona.
Yeah, we noticed their line speed at the beginning of the game, taking that 3 meters to meet those Bear attackers, try to meet them behind the gain line. But again, you've got to stay disciplined. That added layer of a focus here when the rain's going, connecting with the person to the left or right of you, so important these kind of sloppy games.
It's a very tidy kick from the fly half Ran Santos. Another good opportunity for California inside Wildcat territory. Cal's done well at the line of touch, despite conditions. Might we see Hugo Schroeder be the target of this movement? We do, in fact. Unable to bring that ball in. Perhaps the commentator's curse. Not straight, says the referee. I think it's a knock-on from Schroeder. We'll see scrum time, Arizona.
All right, you're Arizona. You're at the 22. Sean Duffy, the head coach, said, you've got plan A and plan B. We're going to come into Witter Rugby Field playing, essentially, hey, we would like to go ahead and hit the middle and get around the corners. But if we don't, what are we trying to do here? So not giving away the farm, but you'd expect playing some territory games, especially if you're not getting it done on the attack space, trying to put them under pressure.
Colin, we're seeing a number of discussions at scrum time as each of these front rows try to gain the ascendancy.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be a busy day for the lads in 1 through 8 jersey. Lots of scrum downs, scrum times, and knock-ons. Battle of the big boys up front.
It's a good push from the California forward pack as Hall's going to move the ball into his midfield. There's Maddox King, the outside center. Hall with the deep ball into Gerstle, unable to get the ball on his right foot initially with a tidy step. In an effort to clear his lines, here comes Joe Kirsten. Nice wide ball out to Threlkeld. Threlkeld does well to beat his first defender. Oh, a nice ball inside to Byron Flinley. Perhaps a little too much there at the end, trying to keep the ball alive. Williams going to reverse the attack. Here comes Aramea. Numbers and space down this left side for California. But we may never see the opportunity to exploit, as California is again dinged at the breakdown.
Yeah, we got to bring it back to that clearance kick there from number 10, Gerstle. Lots of pressure from the Bears coming up, going to the opposite side, getting that kick through. Doesn't get to touch, but a great job by Santos and Threlkeld. It was a bounce move, pretending to go to the open side where most of the majority of the players are. Back to the weak side. Threlkeld running down the sideline. And just another penalty at the break that we've seen. Arizona, and again, lucky to get that turnover. And again, with 45 seconds left to play in this first half, can they string something together, maybe get 3 points, maybe a try, but they got to find some attacking prowess here.
California does a great job to disrupt the line out. Gathered up by Schroeder. Aramea unable to hold on to it, but gathered very well by Don Paga, beating 1 and 2 defenders. He's brought down just beyond the 10-meter line. Williams wants to play. Santos again putting the ball on his right foot into Bizio, who catches it in stride with numbers on the inside of support. Here comes Threlkeld. That is champagne rugby from the California back line. It's 5 more points for California.
Just watching the captain, Charlie Walsh, is fist pumping. He is proud of his back line there. And talking to Coach Clark, play what's in front of you, put pressure on him, and that's what Santos did. He tried it earlier in the match, that kick pass. I said if it was just a couple meters ahead, it would have been brilliant. He found his touch, great way to kick to the corner. Arizona trying to get over there, but not just the catch from Bizio, but the inside support from Threlkeld. Support scores tries in rugby, that inside pass. He was there in that channel, got the try. What a beautiful passage to play from the California Golden Bears in wet weather using that kick pass. It's just pretty. You love to see it.
So much experience from this California backline. Love to see Threlkeld inserting himself in this match. Colin Threlkeld actually capped for his home nation of Hong Kong this fall in November against Brazil, using some of that international experience this afternoon on Witter Rugby Field. As Santos unable to pick up the 2 points. Leaving our score, it's 22-0 at the stroke of halftime. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with second half action here at Witter Rugby Field.
Fans, you can follow Cal Varsity Rugby on social media. Go to @CalVarsityRugby to follow the Golden Bears on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Oh, that was pretty.
Fans, the Bears will return to Witter Rugby Field on Saturday, February 8th to take on UCLA at 1 p.m.
How you feeling?
Get your tickets and view
Great
the
job.
Bears' full home schedule at calbears.com. And fans, Cal Rugby Summer Camp for boys ages 14 to 18 will take place July 18th to the 20th on the campus of the University of California. For more information and register, go to calbears.com/camp.
That's literally what I focus on. You focus on this, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to bring it back to this and the bounce back and why we're self. But it's such like a rugby game for me where it's like one thing after the other. So if you're doing that, you got to be here. But that's, when you do this for long enough, that's what it's so important. You just can't, it's too much information.
honestly, that's from the freshmen. Just having some great moments. Mule, physio, right. We can bring the Bubba's.
He was here last week.
Dude, Huckleberry is the most flushed out I've ever seen. He just Gabby's smothering him. She tried to out-smother him. Didn't work.
Let's go Bears! Here we go, Kane!
I like dark. Easy rod. All right, Higgs, what does Arizona have to do to get back in this match? Clean it up. How are you keeping Cal out? It's like penalties, right? Marks for penalties. I think they've got to put them under pressure with some better kicks to the corner, better kick chase.
Welcome back, rugby fans. It is a wet February afternoon at the University of California with second half action set to kick off at Witter Rugby Field. The Bears playing host to the Arizona Wildcats. Calling first half action, saw 4 tries on behalf of California. What does Arizona need to do to get back into this contest?
Hey, Arizona came out hot. Great opportunities in that first half, but really it comes down to discipline for me. A lot of penalties that Cal's taken advantage of and made into territory with touch finders and great lineouts and rolling mauls. And just Arizona, when they get into Bear territory, they've got to make sure of it, tighten it up, and really go to work. It's not going to be pretty, but they've really got to hold onto the pill and just grind it out and start go forward with those really hard charge and runs and just make sure that the pill is secured. Ball possession's key in the second half.
We'll see if Arizona is able to heed some of those warnings as the open side flanker, Tanner DeMassa, carries into contact. And a box kick by Hall. Big tackle from Ashton Gradwick Light. Holding on, says the referee. Calling just the response that you want to see if you're Arizona.
Gradwick Light with that tackle on Santos and then the supporting player over the ball hawking. Now that's what probably Coach Sean Duffy came out. He's like, guys, you got to be up for it. This is Cal. You're in Witter Rugby Field territory. You've got to come out. You've got to want it. So seeing a little fire in them as they start this second half is exactly what I want to see from the Wildcats.
Critical to execute if you're Arizona here. It's an excellent attacking platform. 13 seconds into, about a minute and a half into this second half. And unfortunately, unable to connect is the captain hooker, Cameron Blair, with his line-out jumper. Here's the big man, Aramea, again with a strong carry requiring a double tackle.
Yeah, that was a great steal by Finley. Coach Clark said he's been earning minutes and needs some moments, and just like that, a great steal from Arizona. Nice job by the lock.
Well gathered by Antonio Gonzalez. The wing for the Wildcats bundled into touch. It's California earning themselves a turnover. I thought he had gone into touch. The referee disagrees. It was a quick tap by Jacob Hall. Well spotted by the scrum half.
We've got some hits coming in this second half. Arizona and the Bears going toe-to-toe. You love to see it.
Jacob Hall, the junior, finds his way to Tucson from the Gold Coast of Australia. Would have played a bunch of rugby growing up, leaning on all of that experience, exploiting a bit of space and confusion. As Ted Champion, the inside center for Arizona, puts the ball further into Bear territory. Another opportunity here, Colin, to again execute on a line out.
Going to be interesting if the Bears go up and contest or stay on their feet.
Again, unable to do it. Well gathered by Puckett, the open side. Holding on, says the referee. Colin, California and Arizona kind of trading mistakes here in the early minutes of this second half.
Yeah, you get out of the halftime huddle, you got a second half to play. Arizona coming out. Whoever gains their composure, right? You need that increased focus, that increased discipline, support on it, making sure you get the ball to deck and put it back, your body position as you go into that tackle. Be strong, be composed. Just a little bit of emotions here as Arizona comes out swinging. It's just this arm wrestle in the beginning and who's going to get over the top.
We see a Wildcat down in back play receiving a little bit of medical attention. Again, the first half saw 4 tries from California by way of Solomon Williams, Rand Santos, Cade Christ, and then again Max Threlkeld just before the stroke of halftime.
Yeah, just composure by the Bears, getting down into Arizona territory, finding a way to get inside that try zone, and especially with that cross kick. Coach Clark was just calling, play what's in front of you. We saw a snipe in there from Williams. That's him getting his eyes up, seeing a half gap, and trusting that, I'm a small, fast guy. I can beat a large, slow guy. Just playing what's in front of you, and Santos's kick pass across the pitch to Bizio. Again, that's your vision, looking up and go ahead and scanning the field and having the prowess to go ahead and execute and the confidence to go for what you see in front of you.
I'm reminded of Coach Clark's words, Colin, when we were chatting him in preparation for the match, just wanting to see far more intention from his side, leaning on their experience, demonstrating a higher rugby IQ, and we're seeing that today from California. Saw a replacement on behalf of Arizona. Is number 20, I think that's Troy Norman, on for the open side, Tanner DeMassa.
All right, for the third time, Arizona with the line out. Can they win it? Can they get points on the board? Another chance knocking on the door.
Again, unable to bring the ball down cleanly. Knock on California, resulting in an attacking Wildcat scrum 15 meters away from the Cal try line.
And that's that relentless pressure from the Bears. Even though they're only about 8 meters out, still sending up a jumper and competing well. Relentless pressure. You've got to earn everything here. Arizona struggling at the line of touch, but maybe they find some luck here at scrum down.
Colin, we chatted at the break. The onus is on Arizona to capitalize on these opportunities as they carry hard into the midfield by way of King. It's a good tackle from Finley on his opposite number, Andreas Anderson. Again, unable to connect. Hacked through by Ollie Newell. The obscure bounce of the rugby ball, and Oliver Newell is the beneficiary of it. Let's see if we can convert this into points. Picked up calmly by Joe Kirsten, not 1 meter away from the California try line. We've gone 99 meters here. And an infringement spotted by the referee. California doing an unbelievable job there, Colin, of turning defense into attack, forcing a turnover, forcing the error by way of the Wildcats.
One of the rules of rugby, you have to turn territory into points. I think that was 4 line-out opportunities here gone wanting for Arizona, and then winning the scrum, but not having that pod on the outside. Who are we passing to? Let's make sure of it right in the middle. Let's maintain possession. We've just got to grind this thing out. It doesn't go to hand. And then the kick and chase and kick and chase. And we've changed ends of the field. The Bears knocking on the door at the 5 meter.
Here comes Cade Christ, the hooker, finding Hugo Schroeder again. The Bears are going to work their rolling maul. Perhaps an opportunity for Chris to pick up his second try of the afternoon. It looks like he's over. Arms are up. We'll wait for the only arm that matters, and we're not going to get it from the referee, Frank Palumbo. Very well done by Cameron Blair, the captain for Arizona, holding up his opposite number, Cade Christ, when it matters most.
Yeah, Cameron Blair leading from the front there, the captain getting underneath the pill. Nice job, but you see the Bears there going ahead and getting that line out, winning it, the driving ball. You know, great, brave defense from Arizona, but that's what it looks like. Arizona's got to figure a way to execute inside of the Bear territory for that kind of moment.
Restart gathered by Kirsten, working to find a soft shoulder. Not many of them out there on behalf of Arizona as he crosses over the 22-meter line. Here's Aramea. Aramea finds his way to Berkeley from Poirot, New Zealand. Spent some time with the football team before joining the rugby team here in Strawberry Canyon. California turning the ball over. And an excellent clearing kick by Arizona. But here comes Jack Bizzio. Bizzio to Newell. It's a very headsy call by the fullback, Mateo Berenger, the vice captain, calling for the mark, but we're going to come back for an offsides infringement spotted by referee Palumbo nearly on halfway.
That's a great kicking exchange from Arizona. Maybe we're seeing plan B from head coach Sean Duffy. You know, if you got the leg to put that ball down that length, you're going to want to use it to put him under pressure here. Great penalty opportunity from Arizona. And again, can you bring everything together? Can you execute, play the conditions in front of you to maintain possession long enough, play through the phases, and get over the line?
Looks like Arizona is instead opting to go for the line of touch. It seemed like they had called the scrum initially, but we'll come back for a clearance kick from Ted Champion, the inside center. Plenty of trouble being had by the Wildcats at the line of touch. Cal doing a really good job of disrupting that flow. A lot of pressure now to execute, and instead, Colin, we talked about plan B. There it was. Quick throw in to the prop, Isaac Morrill, but unable to connect as Gerstle cleans up an untidy ball. Maddox King dumping the ball off. Bays of a forward pass go unheard from the sideline. And well done by California, putting in a strong tackle. I think that was Rand Santos forcing a turnover at the contact area.
We talked to Coach Clark before the game, and defense came up. It's like, hey, we put in some systems, some structures, but this is going to be a test in wet weather. How do we perform under pressure? And you're just seeing the Cal Bears go ahead, come up, relentless pressure, causing those turnovers, and that's what you want to see from the Bears in their defensive system.
Midfield scrum for California. Big blindside available to Jack Bizzio as we see Aramea pick and go that left-hand side. Kind of an awkward tackle, Colin. Not sure if it was deemed high or the ball was lost on the far side of that scrum. plenty of discussion being had about it. And we're going to pack down for another scrum. Calling to see a lot of space. I mentioned on that blind side, potentially a 1v1 opportunity for Bizio on that far side, but the California backline is aligning deep with plenty of width between Threlkeld and Newell. Very well defended by Arizona and hacked through. Regathered by the Wildcats. Here's Hall. That's the replacement. Troy Norman knocked on in the tackle contest. Seeing a lot of that, Colin, a lot of big collisions, a lot of eager defense from both sides, turning defense into attack as each side has earned their fair share of turnovers.
I think that was Chris coming up making the tackle. Coach Clark saying he's having a phenomenal start to his year there at the hooker spot, coming up and making some big hits. He's looking like he's got some fresh legs here. Great defense from the Bears. Arizona just has got to bring the physicality and make sure they maintain possession in that contact area.
Cade Christ, the junior from San Diego, California, one of those players we mentioned who spent time with age grade rep rugby, seeing time with the U18s and the U20s. Drawing on all of that experience this afternoon. Calling the second half. We're 12 minutes into this second half. Kind of in spurts and starts. No side really gained any momentum or continuity just yet. You got to think that's a result of the conditions as the wind and rain picks up. Byron Finley taking over that line-out duties as we see Charlie Walsh and Aramea unable to connect on a tidy little underneath ball. Colin, you got to think that maybe an opportunity for Walsh to just carry that into contact. Of course, hindsight is not only 20/20, but very easy for us to make that call here in the tower.
Yeah, I think Finley doing a great job contesting. I think that's his second steal. Great steal trying to get that ball back for the Bears. But you get these moments in rugby games, deep into the second half, losing a bit of shape. Maybe we're losing a little ball. That comes from the captains and leadership. I think we've got 13 upperclassmen and 2 fifth-year seniors on the Bears. That's a moment for leadership. Hey, guys, we're going ahead and being sloppy with the ball. That scrum down, that pass back to Williams. Maybe we don't need that. Maybe we just put our pads down, we go forward, we keep the ball in, we keep possession. That's a conversation for the players on the field, and that's the adjustment that I'd like to see made.
Took the words out of my mouth, Colin, as we pack down for an attacking Arizona scrum. We see a layered backline shape as a big push from California, illegally done so, says the referee. Perhaps another opportunity for the Wildcats to work the right boot of Ted Champion, shaping to hit this ball right at our tower. Heads on a swivel here, Colin. Colin, we've mentioned it a few times. Pressure on for the captain, Cameron Blair, to connect with his jumpers.
Yeah, you've got number 5 there for the Bears, Finley. He's got 2 steals, going to get a third. He doesn't go up, but Arizona with the pill.
Here's Gerstel into the midfield. Hard tackle on Champion. Another infringement at the breakdown. Colin, at what point does referee Frank Palumbo start to seek far more severity in these penalties?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the penalties here. From the side, you got to talk to a player that's had repeated infringements. Santos there not rolling away. I mean, it's really tough, right, in these wet conditions to get your body right in these things. I think he's got a lot of empathy for the players. But, again, he wants a clean game, moving fast. I'm sure if we've got repeated infringements, he might up the ante a little bit.
Scrum center, Wildcats. As we work the right side. Another kick charge down from the right boot of Jake Hall. Bizio looked poised to pick it up with nothing but green space in front of him. We're seeing a little bit of activity on the far touchline from Arizona. Might we see some upcoming changes? We are, in fact, seeing some of those changes.
And again, I just want to come back to a lot of these players, the freshman at the number 10, Gerstel for Arizona, he's taking that ball at pace and running up to the line and then deciding to kick, which you can do in good conditions, clean run and rugby. Here, if you do have the leg, go ahead and set your feet. If you're going to kick it, make sure you got this big kick chase on the opposite side. Just a little bit more focus and composure, early decision-making to put that ball on your foot and create some distance there.
Very difficult early touch from the replacement number 22, Gustav Martinez. We keep mentioning it, Colin. It's got to be the conditions, but I don't know that we've seen play extend beyond a third phase in the second half.
Yeah, like we said, a bit of an arm wrestle. Which team is going to go ahead and commit to refocusing and getting really dialed in with their body position, staying a bit tighter. That skip pass, we're seeing the wind coming in a bit heavier here in the second half. That ball's going to float in the air, and it's wet, and you saw that one not going to hands. So just an adjustment of tactics is needed.
We see Oliver Newell shaping on this right side. Here's Iramea to Williams, running at the line. Another missed pass to Kirsten, unable to connect. We saw it successful in the first half. 2 of those cutout passes from Williams to find Kirsten at pace, but unable to connect there. A couple of changes we've seen from the Wildcats. Number 21, Lucas Smith, checking in at the scrum half position for Jacob Hall. Number 19, Harry Hobson, and I mentioned his name already, number 22, Gustav Martinez, as well as Seamus McCarthy checking in at the front row for Isaac Morrill. Carried in by Smith. Here's the big man, Jack Bresland. Smith. Now to Gradwick Light. Gerstel's going to get out of his own territory. Finding a bit of space with that right boot. Plenty of time for Newell. Keen to put his ears down and carry in. High tackle, says the referee.
Unlucky for Arizona. That's what I like to see from the freshman fly half. And Gerstel, go ahead and set your feet. Put that foot down. He's got a good leg on him. Your kick chase has got to be good as well. You got to come up there and make some tackles. But you get down there, you make a tackle on that fullback who's not electing to kick, and who knows? You get a turnover and you got great ball position.
As we approach the halfway mark of this second half, Colin, we're seeing the wind picking up off the mighty Pacific to our west into the faces of the Bears. Schroeder again with the steady hands at the line of touch. He's been great all day for California as possession approaches the 22. Nice little head shake from Charlie Walsh, the captain.
The big man's got a step.
Santos out the back to Edstrom. Tackled very well by Martinez, the replacement center. There's Iramea. Requiring 2 tackles every time he gets his hands on the ball. Now the onus is on big Tom Dixon to tidy things up. Numbers in space for California if they can use it. Well defended from Arizona on that left touch line. I think that's Don Paga taking a pick, keeping the ball alive. Off their feet at that breakdown on the far touch line. Decision time calling for California. Do we continue to work the line out and the rolling ball that's been so successful this afternoon, or pick up points?
Yeah, you got to think they're going to go to the corner here. They've been doing a great job at the line of touch. Their rolling ball has been great. They got saved from a great try-saving holding the ball up from the captain, Cameron Blair, on Arizona. But it's been working for them. They're going to go for it.
We'll see how Arizona opts to defend this line out on the 5-meter in lieu of sending a man up to contest for the ball. Maybe they stay on the ground and set their drive. They will not, as Breslin climbs high into the East Bay sky. Brought down, says the referee. We see his arm out, playing advantage. No advantage gained after only one phase. And we see a second burst at the whistle call, and perhaps is this the discussion we alluded to earlier as it relates to repeated infringements deep in Arizona territory.
And again, Arizona needs to be really careful here. Keep those tackles low.